Hello, this is Wilson with Jesse Brown's Outdoors in Charlotte, North Carolina. I wanted to show you how to tie the Mega Prince Nymph today. Now, this particular Mega Prince Nymph I have modified a little bit. I've put a little extra flash in it and a couple of little changes that makes it a little bit different from the original. I think they all work pretty well no matter what, but this particular one with a little extra flash on it I think helps during bright days. Fish really cue into that. So we're going to go ahead and get started on this fly. We're going to use a size 6 hook. There's a 3x long 6 hook and a 3/16 gold bead. First step, we're going to tie in the legs. These are just going to go straight out of the front of the eye of the hook, so something a little bit different. But I really think it works well. These legs I tie in long too. They're about the same length as the shank of the hook. Now this fly I use this fly everywhere, but lately on float trips on the Catawba I've been using this fly, and I've caught probably 90% of my fish on this particular fly. So we're going to trim our legs. We are going to tie in, instead of peacock curl like the normal pattern calls for, we're going to tie in this ice dub. You can substitute this for some other stuff too. I mean, you can use peacock curl if you want. You can use there's other type of dubbing out there that has just a little bit of flash in it, and it's still like that hare's ear dub. But this stuff's really bright. I like it a lot for sunny days. So I tie in just enough that it's going to hold that bead from going any further forward, so that's plenty. Gonna whip finish, cut our thread, move that bead up, and then we're going to tie in our lead wire. This is .03 lead wire. And I'll go ahead and push that lead wire up into that bead. Keeps it from moving around a whole lot. Now the Catawba River's been a pretty interesting subject lately, especially for us in the Charlotte area. Typically if we want to do a float trip, we would need to go to East Tennessee, which I maintain has probably the best trout fishing waters in the southeast. But that takes 3.5 hours to get to the South Holston from Charlotte. So the Catawba River chain is a great option, and they finally have started putting, well, they've had trout in it for a while, but the dam has now established a minimum flow so it can hold fish. So it's only an hour and a half from Charlotte too, which that's the best part about it. I'm going to line up my tail. This is tan grizzly marabou, this stuff. You can use just regular marabou if you want to. I tie that in about the length of the hook shank, so I like a big tail on there too. I'm going to tie the rest of these feathers in as just building up the body, really. All the way up to the bead. And I'll tie a few different variations of this fly. As I said, this particular one I like for high sun, bright days. Catch them on dark days too, but I'll tie a little bit darker pattern in for those darker days. And we'll take my legs again. And they do not have to be branded as buggy nymph legs. They can be whatever you want. I just like them. I like these legs because they're a little bit thinner than a lot of other ones, so I think they move around a lot better. So there, I'm done with my tail. Now I'm going to tie in my copper wire. Let's see. This is just medium gold wire. I'm going to tie in my peacock herl. I usually use about 10 strands of this. I don't go cheap on this fly. As long as it takes to tie, go ahead and use up the materials. And I'll tie those tag ends in, again just building up the body of the fly. Another good thing about the catawba is that besides the proximity, I've probably had better days fishing on the catawba this year than I have even in East Tennessee. Just more fish, less wild fish. You do catch a lot more wild fish out in East Tennessee, which is really nice, but you catch wild fish on the catawba too. Just you catch a lot of stocked fish in in between those fish. But a lot of those are holdovers now too, so they can fight hard. You saw I put on a little bit of head cement on the body just to help hold this peacock herl down. If you don't do that, and if you don't wrap this copper wire reversed back over these, then you will have a torn up fly with the first fish you catch. So I'm sure it probably catches the same amount of fish and maybe more when it's torn up, but I'm going to wrap this copper wire reverse direction. So if I went clockwise with the peacock herl, I'm going counterclockwise with this, and that's just going to help hold that peacock herl down. If you're interested in the Catawba River, you can check out my website, dryflyanglers.com, and I have a whole section on the Catawba, as well as put in and take out information if you decide to float it on your own, or there's very little wade fishing access, but if you have a kayak or a buddy with a boat or want to go fishing with me, then it's a good resource for you. Now I'm going to tie my soft tackle next. This I'm getting from these Hungarian partridge skins. These feathers I'm either getting right here or right here. I don't know if you can see with that bag on it, but right here, these darker feathers, or the tips. This came off of a brown saddle, or brown skin rather.